What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. I'm Andy the Middle-Aged Gamer and this is the 2024 batch Umrex HK MP5K PDW Gen2 Revisit / Rereview. Now, as always, let's stick the usual disclosures up on screen right now, and with that, let's jump in. Okay, so why am I doing this? I need to get this out of the way straight away so that we can concentrate properly on this awesome product. Basically, I was going through my back catalogue of reviews that I've done from the very beginning, picking out ones that I do think deserve a revisit now in 2024. Remembering that that was done in my old studio with crappy lighting, etc. And back when this channel was just starting. So it's time to bring it up to the 21st century, as we kind of say, to 2024 standards, let's say. And with that, I decided to get hold of another one. You see, I sold my previous one in 2023, I think it was summertime, and I used that to finance other cool airsoft weapons at the time. But now, obviously, I missed it like crazy. It was always a little piece of my heart missing. And now I've finally gone back to pick this awesome thing up. And I really want to sort of like do this one justice. So with that out the way, let's go over the overview, let's jump right in and do what we always do. Okay, so let's do what we always do. Let's start at the rear, work our way forward. At the rear, we do get a fully replicated nylon fiber polymer stock, just like the real one, and built with the exact same formula as the real one, so it will feel and fit and feed as the real one. It's really cool. Now, at the rear, you do get these serrations. It is nicely curved as well to fit your shoulder. It does feel good to shoulder this weapon. This stock is really good out the box. Now, of course, some people want the telescoping one or they want a different one because they think this is old. But to be honest with you, sometimes the old really got it right. And in this case, this is one of them. Now, as you can see here, if we can get this into view for you, we do get the HK embossed stamping there, which is great. It's also on both sides, just to let you see. And this whole thing is fitted to the end cap here, which allows it to fold. So you would just lift and fold. There is no, how would you say, resistance, like when you buy a 90 pounds 5KU folding stock for your spear, for instance, which you're going to need to beat into submission to get it to work. This one just feels basically kind of like when you buy a top-end phone. It's so high-end and works just great, and it's nice. And of course, with that, means you get some really good durability with it being full, thick cast steel. It's just massive. And the spring being just enough that it holds it in place. It's not too much, but it's easy that most people can easily fold it, no problem. It is full steel, so that is not, how to say, a bad thing. So everything here is steel, and this thing just likes to grab everything, even your sling loop, which is right here. And that's great because unlike with M-LOK, where you have to have the M-LOK adapter, with this you can basically use any hook and loop, sling, any of your old traditional style, and it'll work. So that's kind of cool. Now you do get your two steel securing pins for the back, being HK. Everything's held together with pins, and that's awesome. Now on the top, we do get the rear aperture drum sight, famous from the MP5 and even the G3, if I remember rightly, but mainly on this because this is the one that basically everyone thinks of when they think HK. Now this is full steel as well, and basically is a perfect replica of the real one to every minor detail. You have your adjustment screw here on the top and on the side, so you can adjust the elevation and windage. And like I say, it's really good. This one came very stiff out the factory. I have ordered the HK key that will basically go into here, and you can undo and tighten it or loosen it to make it a little bit better. Now, the whole receiver here is full stamped sheet steel, which is absolutely amazing. Again, like I say, giving you authentic realism. It's what we want in this. We don't like it when they mess things up, but with this, it's just awesome. You do get your welded on plates here. You can just see the welds there, which are nice, replicating the how would you say, proper one in every minute detail. Now, as you can see, I have gone ahead and removed the optic, and its claw mount, that's there. But I wanted to show you the markings, so you can see you get the MP5K stamped on the top there, your serial number, and you do get the proof markings. You have the German Eagle, but the paint is so thick it's kind of taking some of the detail out with the N. You do have the, I would say, building code for where it was built, and you do have the German antler right there, which means it has been certified for use in the German Bundeswehr. So that's really cool. Some people say it just means German made, but whichever the case may be, you've got all the correct markings on there, which is the most important. Now, let's move down to what makes the MP5 and its roller delay family famous, and that is the modular fire control group. Now, the cool thing about this, what HK knew at the time, was you could just pop 2 pins, take this out if there's a part broken, and put a new one in, and your gun's back in action. It's really, really quick. You can send your old one off to service at HK, or you can do it yourself separately, knowing that this is still in the field and running. Now, again, being modular means that basically, depending on what your agency's, I would say, rules are, you can have a semi-auto only like the UK police, or you can have one with the 3-round burst, or you can have one with semi, 3-round and full, or whatever configuration you want. This kind of works. This one's currently set up to the US Navy SEAL days. So you have the early type, as they call it, which is basically no bullets, 1 bullet, and all the bullets, which is kind of cool. And as you can hear, it's a nice positive. And yes, you can easily get it with your thumb, which is part of the, I would say, experience. Now, when it comes to the trigger, it's an MP5 trigger. There's a lot of mush, a break that you won't feel like the actual wall of, but you'll feel the break. The reset is long, and you do feel the reset. It tries to kick your finger forward a little bit once it resets. So let's see if we can get this on there. You can hear that. Once more. There you go. You can feel the reset, and away you go. It's fine. It's an MP5 trigger. They're not meant to be the best, but you can buy different triggers for this that allow you to sharpen that up. I believe Bowmaster do one, and I believe Garda make one as well. So it's entirely up to you. Now, when it comes to the, I would say, magazine side, you've got your mag release here, which is steel, along with its steel catch, and obviously your magwell. Now the magwell, you can see, you do get the caliber 9x19, just like the real steel ones right there. Now this is the standard MP5 magwell, so it's not flared or modernized like we see today. This is from the 1970s and 80s, so just bear that one in mind. But while we're at this point, let's talk about the magazines. Okay, so here we have the PDW's magazine from VFC, and on the aesthetic side, it looks great. It's awesome. It's steel magged. It's just like the real one, made of stamped sheet steel around the outside with a die-cast gas tank in the middle. And what that does is basically give you the correct aesthetics. You do get the markings here, which are great. But how real is this to the real steel? Now, this is one of the things that people like to say, oh, WE are better. They're not. WE are completely out of proportion, and so are the Marusian ones. But I have a real MP5 magazine. As you can see, MP5 HK, you've got the manufacture date, 8/78. So this is 1978 MP5 mag. Yes, you do have bullets. They are proper bullets. They are obviously, how would you call it, dummies. So yes, you can put them in, and you can see there are over 30 rounds in there. So that is a full mag. How does it compare to the, I would say, airsoft version? Well, let's stand them like this at front. Now, of course, on the real one, this is just welded together because obviously that's how they're made. It's what's holding the bullets in there, everything being welded together front and at the rear. So you can see the weld marks. This not being, how would you say, a real steel magazine designed to hold 30 rounds of real 9mm, they just spot weld it at several points. You can just see the spot welds there to hold the shell together. But Other than that, it's fine. Now, of course, you see the latch here, which holds the base plate in. Again, this is held in a different manner, so you don't really see the little lip sticking through, the little rolled steel from the base. But dimensionally, we can agree they are identical on width there, and on depth, and on height. They are identical, okay? Now, the WE are not. The WE is slightly bigger, and you have at the front of the magazine, you will have a big open, so you can see the BBs on the original and on the Gen 2s, which just don't work very well. They're the same. Now, the reason why they're bigger is not just because they have the BBs at the front and the gas tank, but also because they incorporated a bolt stop feature on there with a lever that would break within 4 uses. And every time you inserted the mag in, the lever would get put into dry fire mode, so the bolt click no bang feature never worked properly. So why put it on there and complicate it, as they say? Now, as you can see, the optical illusion there, one looks smaller than the other when they're like this, but when you stand them together, they're basically identical. But yes, they even copied the feed lips, you can see there, are right there. It's great. So, the last thing to compare with the real one before we talk about the Airsoft one, let's get the weight together, shall we? Okay, we'll just make sure it is set. So, your real steel with 30 rounds of 9mm is 536.84. Now remember, there are no BBs in this. There is only a tiny bit of gas in there left. 503. So we're 31, 32 grams missing. Now, if we put those BBs in there, it's almost identical. You're literally talking a few grams that a hair could have sort of like balanced it out. So they nailed everything in that respect. That is really good for authenticity, and especially if you're training and you don't want to waste real rounds, this is great for full on. You've got the weight, you've got the feel, you've got the coating. It's just absolutely awesome. Now, let's take this real one out of the way. So yes, this is a double stack, double feed mag. So you put your your BBs in there, and there'll be two very close together at the front. It is, fed through a double stack, double feed system, so it's a lot better. It's really easy. It means you can just finger BBs in there if you wish, or just pinch it and go with your speed loader really quick. They're really good. They hold 30 rounds, and it really does well. Efficiency wise, you're going to get at least 90 rounds on a cool day, and on a hot day you could get anywhere up to 120 rounds on one charge of gas, which is brilliant. So very efficient. Now let's get back to the awesome weapon itself. Now you can see here your barrel your barrel and hop chamber removal. You just remove that grub there, and it allows you to pull it all apart once you've taken the front end off here, obviously. But that's there. That would be just a, pin that's punched through on the real steel. But as you can't tell, it's kind of cool. Now, here at the front, we do get the PDW foregrip, which comes with a hand stop, so you don't put your hand in front of the muzzle and blow your hand off. You do get a steel securing pin, just like the real one. And again, this is built with the same nylon fiber composite as the real, and will fit a real one and work. It's not like, something cheap that is just airsoft only. When we move up from here, I will show you the hop. Hop is in here, and I'll show you how you adjust that when we take it apart. But here on the top, we do have our cocking handle. Now, of course, you would lock it into there and give it the slap it deserves. And because this is a steel cocking handle with its nice case over there, you do have your steel cocking tube. Unlike Bada Bing with the full size, as he proved, the full-size A5 variant of this, and I believe the SD, still use the zinc cocking tube when you buy them new. That's one of the parts that you can change. I believe Clutch Precision will do you one of them decently. So definitely one of the things you want to swap out when you buy the full-size day one. They haven't changed that with the 2024 batch that have just been released. So just bear that in mind. Like I say, after about 1,000 rounds on the full size, it will break. Whereas with this being full steel, as you can see, it is steel. You can just cock it and slap it for days. It's fine. Now, at the front, you do get the HK end cap. This is built one-to-one to the real one. It's steel. There is a small little pin. If I can get this on camera for you, right there, you would push in, and then you can twist this cap off. But to remove this cap, it's like everything, it's secured in place by this little sling loop here. Now, you would pop out this cap, undo the screw there, that allows you to remove this, and then you can undo the muzzle device and take the tri-lug muzzle off, and that will allow you to take that out as well, okay? Because this screw kind of like stops any of these from rotating back. Now, again, this muzzle device, as I say, is tri-lug, so you can use any tri-lug device on there, but it's also 14mm CCW threads. So you get a thread protector on there. So if you don't have a tri-lug, you can still put your nice devices on there, however you will feel. The sight post here is aluminium, just like the real one, but the internal blade is steel, and it's designed that way so it can be replaceable as they do break over time. You might drop it. It's quite simple. There's a roll pin right there. You knock that out and you can slide out this front post, replace it with another one. I believe I've seen some from other companies with a luminous tritium front sight, if you wish. There's some really cool designs out there. Do what you want. Now, let's flip this thing around and show you the other side. Now, as you can see, you still get all the correct welds where it should be. It's just an absolute beautiful thing. And again, on the mag well on this side, you do get made in West Germany, HK, Chantley, Virginia, which is basically the home of HK in Germany. And you do get the legal bit there, license, trademark, headlock, has to be on there for Airsoft. Now, other than that, everything is nicely mirrored. You do still get your old button takedown for your mag release, if you wish to use it. No one ever does, they'll use the paddle. So, with that being said, let's take this thing out to the range and let's see how good she is. I'm using 0.25 gram BBs and green gas. Okay. That gives us an average of 310.2, high of 319, always your first shot's going to be the most pokiest, and a low of 306. That is awesome. Okay, let's take it back to about 10 meters and let's see what grouping size we can get with this. A very good grouping that'll be. Okay, so let's try the Texas Star. Let's take it back and see how she does. My autistic impatience gets the better of me, but it is awesome. Okay, so as you can see, accuracy of this bloody thing is amazing. Not only does it have a nice satisfying recoil impulse, it's beautiful to shoot, but you can also be a lot more accurate with it. Now, yes, my first shot here, and I know everyone hates it like the first, whatever, that I always put one target, find out where the red dot was, because I just literally had taken it off prior and slapped it on. As you can see, my dot was hitting a little bit high, so I could adjust and you groups here. But even if we take those groupings like that, you are talking under 3-inch grouping between those two. But in reality, you would be looking more at a 2-inch grouping if you're basically better than I am. And yeah, just look at that. It's a lovely tight group. Majority in the black with just that one there, which again, it is probably just the shooter. But for everyone to see, it's all there. So, with that out the way. Now, as you can see, I've gone ahead and disassembled this as per YouTube guidelines. I have to basically do that. So, here you are with this awesome MP5K MP5K, all disassembled, ready to go. So let's take a look at what you get on the inside, shall we? Got my magnet here to help you. So, starting with the modular grip, why not? Now, straight away, you can see it's a bit filthy. It's been used quite well. You do get a more realistic fire control. Everything in here is identical. The main thing that's not is this part here. This aluminium block here is basically put into this for your firing pin to hit the back of the mag, etc. You've got your over travel teeth here that stop the mag from, how would you say, over travel. And you'll find that basically the way the mag sits is like this. And of course you can see the general wear, which you will get. It will shave a little bit, but it will stop. And it wears on these bits here as it all gets mounted in. Okay. Now, what's steel, what's not steel? Well, your firing pin is aluminium. It doesn't need to be, let's say, steel. Okay. But your sear, disconnector, springs, and everything else inside here is all steel. The only thing that's not is your hammer here. Okay, your hammer is zinc, and you can see where the general initial wear as things start to go in. Because this was all brand new and tight, you'll find that the bolt carrier might not go 100% into home yet. It's not one in the booking, it's not one in the tracks that you can see there. And so you will get a few hits. Now, they are visible but not actually deep. They stopped. After about 1,000 rounds, they just disappeared. And in that respect, they stopped getting any worse. They didn't cause any problems or what have you. Now, the benefit is they do sell a steel hammer if you wish to go down there. But I will put this warning out there for you guys. If you swap the hammer to a steel one, you have to remember that this bolt carrier is not steel on the bolt carrier itself, and if you're going to use a steel hammer onto a knot, then this one's going to start to deform, and you may have trouble taking the back off. Just FYI. Now, I put that information out there for you guys. Of course, it's entirely up to you if you wish to do it, but you can see here all the other bits and so on in there are working the way that they should do. You can remove this out. This is interchangeable, so if you want to swap the grip to a, say, a G3 style, the really early type, you can do, and just drop this module in. It's the same disassembly as, how to say, the real steel to do so. So if you know that, you know this. There's plenty of people online that have done the guide of how to do it, so you can easily find something. But yes, it's a really good fire control modular group. It works, and you can just use it in any of the MP5Ks. So that's cool. Now, moving on from there, let's talk about the stock. As I said, on the inside you can see the rubber impact pad from when the bolt comes back and hits here. So that basically stops damage to the bolt. It's not metal like you see with some with the spring here. That's already on the bolt carrier itself, but it's really good. And you do have this solid steel end cap bit here, all welded together. It's nice and screwed. So yes, it's an absolute amazing piece of kit. Very hefty. Now, you got your foregrip here. As you can see, it's just nylon polymer. Now, the most interesting part is your bolt carrier. This is the Gen 2 bolt carrier. And so, therefore, the Gen 2 bolt carrier has a few refinements over the original. First of all, you can see that the finish doesn't wear as easily as before. Before, there was wears all up and down it. Now, with this new coating, which is, compared to my last one, the last one looked more like a gunmetal grey. This is more of a black finish when you have it up close. This is steel, along with all this bits here. So yes, steel, steel spring, steel buffer, you know. So all the important bits here are steel to deal with it. So that's great. Now your nozzle is held in here, and that's this little bit here is where the hammer was impacting at first, like I say, because as it would get jammed in. Now all you need is a pair of needle nose pliers. You can see those two little holes there. Put the pliers in, you can use them to undo the back cap and take your nozzle out. It's a lot more simpler to disassemble than others out there. Very easy in that respect. Now, of course, they have replicated the roller designs, and you get everything from the proper pin, although I would try and maybe put a bit of copper on there, paint that with a bit of copper, it's up to you. But your nozzle is really cool. Now, the nozzle on this is a redesigned Gen 2 nozzle. If you can see these two molding holes. Yeah, can you see that? Right. Now, why does it have steel inside the loading nozzle? I'll give you 3 seconds. Right, there you go. Okay. The reason why it has steel is this has been basically reinforced. As you guys saw, the keen eye would see that the bolt stop function on this, it doesn't allow the bolt to go 100% home. It goes to about 80% to 85% home. What that does is give you a complete unique impulse on the final round, allowing you and the human brain to process what's just happened, that was the last shot, and get ready to reload. Now, the MP5 reload is unique in its own way. We all know that you have to charge the, the bolt to the rear, lock it to the rear, drop your mag, slap your new one in, and give it the HK slap. That takes time. So with this, they made it so that this has been reinforced to basically catch on the back of not here and not these. In fact, where it catches, if I can get that, I'm trying to avoid it before, but you can see it here. Can you see the square notch on the back of the follower? Because inside this follower is exactly the same as what's in there. I'm not sure if it will get, yep, it does, but it kind of wants to go down to the main shell because that's even more. But with this, there's a steel piece inside the follower, okay? So on the BB follower, as it goes up, this bolt will travel forward and stop right there on the actual follower itself. What that means is you're not damaging your feed lips, which are metal. They are steel feed, it's just a die-cast steel type, I don't know what you would call it, but they are a hard metal. They're not going to break or anything very easily unless you drop the mag on it. Looking at you, my friend Jay, who bought my previous one. But yes, what happens is that will slam into the back of that and it holds it there. It gives you a unique impulse. Now, why did they do this? Well, like I said in the beginning, when you compare these mags to the WE has a little lever here that will pop up. What that does is it allows a little blockage thing that will stop the, the knocker valve and move it away so that the hammer would go forward and it wouldn't, the firing pin wouldn't hit the actual knocker valve there, okay? Now what would happen is that pin would break. It's a lot more complicated in parts, adds to cost. So in order to A, keep the cost down, keep the dimensions as real as possible, which is what you buy the VFC officially licensed one for, to get it as close to the real one as we humanly can. And that just adds a lot of complexity to it. So what they did was reinforce this here and reinforce the loading arm on the nozzle. So now they're steel, they just hit on there and it will stop perfectly fine and basically give you that extra second or two. And that's what counts. Tell me, guys, have you ever ran with an AK and you go bang, 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 you forget your rounds? Everyone does in the moment. They're not counting 30 rounds or whatever, or 35 or 45, depending on which brand of AK you've gone for, whether it's GHK, WE, etc. And it goes click, no bang. Your brain immediately takes a second, which is fast, to process the information. You go, oh crap, and you dive into cover. Now you're going through the reload. The enemy hears the click, no bang, knows you ran out, and is now pressing on you. With this, it goes bang, 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 gives you the final one, just like an AR-15, locks the bolt to the rear, gives you that final, shot feel. This is kind of like replicating that. So your hand is already hitting that charging handle, locking it up, slapping the mag out, putting a new one in, and getting back into the fight a second or two faster than it would without. So that's the whole idea of it. Oh, my opinion on it, and from what I've heard and talked to people with inside VFC. So, a great system. It's not perfect by means. Yes, if you want the click no bang feature, it's going to really suck that you don't have it, but it's as close as we can get. I would rather have a gun that is as close realistically as it can get, but is reliable, durable, and skirmishable. So when you're playing, because you're going to use this, it's not going to sit on a wall, is it? So there's my 2 cents on that, if you wish. But yes, you do get your riveted in place there, which you can see. And now all the details are fully replicated. I don't know if you can get that on there. But yeah, everything on this is just amazing. I'm trying to find the lighting here because it is still kind of... But yes, there are two There are 2 feed ramps, one either side here, because this is a dual stack, dual feed system. So just FYI. And yeah, they've basically done a lot of work with the upper. As you can see, like I say, it's just one big stamped sheet metal welded in place, which it should be. And yeah, it's just a great build of that. Now the hop chamber is here. If you can have a look here, you can see this nice rotary wheel. Now, unlike others, this rotary wheel is very ratcheted, and each click is positive, tactile, and audible. So you can click it and click it and click it into each place, meaning that the recoil is not going to kick it out. Do you remember with the older ones that are more AK style with the little tab that you push forward and back, and every time you shot it would move? Kind of like the G36 on the top until we swapped that out to a TDC. But yes, it's the exact same thing. Okay. Now, like I said, the barrel is secured in place here at the front by this. So you would take this sling loop off, and then you can undo that and take this screw out, and then this entire barrel assembly, along with the end cap obviously, can come all off, and you can swap out the barrel to a steel one. Bowmaster makes a steel, this is aluminium. But unlike the Maruya that's cut open here, you see it's complete, it's a proper barrel, just way better. Now, of course, reassembly of this thing is really, really simple. It's not really hard to do. Your handguard just kind of goes in there. The pins are just so new though on this that it takes a minute to get them in. There we go. Push that all the way in. And like I say, anyone can do it once you've done it once. Now, one of the other changes I think that they made with the 2024 batch is the fit and finish of it. Oh, but very little, minimal rattle. As you can see, it takes it a minute to get over the actual tracks and lock on. And to be honest with you, it stays. You don't hear a lot of rattle, certainly when everything is put back together. So yeah, it's just simple. Put that in, and now we will put our modular grip on. You've got to line up the hole a little bit because you are putting pins in. That's easy enough. Once you've secured that one, just slot the end one in here, hold it. Now, it's always better to mount the top one first, I've found with this, because the grip and the tightness of the polymer around it makes it a lot more difficult. But once the top one's in, I mean, if I get this lined up, you can kind of see it's just slightly out, so you got to line it up correctly and push in. There we go. And if we get to that point and nut goes in, well, over time it will work. Now you get a quick function test, but as you can see, just to prove a concept, okay, that trigger goes dead, and as you can see, the bolt stops kind of about 85% forward. You get that weird feeling, so you can now just quickly in, mag out, mag in, and go. So let's get this ready and let's talk about our final thoughts. Okay, so if you've gotten this far in the video and you like what you see but you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit that notification bell and like button. That way, one, you stay notified whenever I upload a new video, and you help with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to go one step further, you can always use the YouTube thanks button and donate to the channel directly. A huge thanks to everyone who does that, and even to those who don't and just watch my videos. Thank you. Okay, so what are my final thoughts? Well, let's put it this way. Like I say, I missed my PDW Gen 2 back from the original first batch that they released. I loved it to death. It was absolutely awesome. And it probably is the best MP5 on the market right now, certainly for skirmishability. Like I say, with the full size, there are a few modifications you're going to need to do to it to make sure it runs 100% and you can give it that slap it deserves. Now, I don't know about you, but I really do enjoy it, you know? And because I enjoy it, let's show you that intro again, just to show you it firing. So, as you can see, just absolutely gorgeous, right? It's just a awesome kick. It's a nice recoil impulse. It's strong enough to give you a smile, strong enough to make you feel really good, but snappy enough to be competitive in battle. And to be honest, I've won a few games with this thing already, and it really makes me happy. And that's the whole point of Airsoft, is which one makes you happy. Now, my MP5 journey started with the WE Apache, or their full-size MP5, and that was shooting for the space station straight out the box. It was just curving straight up, even with 0 hot. And then when I sorted that out, it was going to the right by 20 feet. It was like, oh my God. And you were following all the YouTube guides on how to fix that. In the end, I put a Crazy Jet in there to stabilize it. It still brought the group from, like I say, 20 odd feet down to 6 inches, which was great. Certainly wasn't good beyond 10 meters, that's for sure. Anything past 10 meters, forget it, you're not hitting it. And it would piss out gas after about 8 shots. It was just ridiculous. And that little latch kept breaking, which made the gun just dry fire. It was like you never got the click no bang. Or the other part on it that would break was the part, is it part number 50 or 53? The 3-round burst little clip that you would put inside. That's only made of tin. So after the first use, it would break and you'd need another one. And at £3 a piece, they were expensive. So, of course, like I say, that's only my opinion. It's my experience with it. I've heard people have good, but then that's WE. 99% are trash, but you get the rest that are good. So, again, personal opinion. Don't hate me. Now, when it comes to VFC, their first VFC ones, the Gen 1s were rubbish. Everyone avoided them like the plague. So, yeah, the V1s were just not that very good. And of course, VFC knew it. They grew. They did the Gen 2, improved the bulk carrier. Anyone who had a Gen 1 with a rattly bulk carrier that was broken, you contacted VFC and they would send you the whole bulk carrier group that would just drop in. And yes, you can drop parts from the Gen 2 into the Gen 1 and kind of fix the problems it had. That is entirely up to you. Now, of course, that's all up for you. Like I say, in my opinion, this is just absolutely an amazing piece of kit. It works. Again, people are going to complain about that last round, as you would say, where it locks at 80, 85, whatever you want to call it, %. And I'm like, that's fine, because I use it for actual gameplay. I'm not just going to sort of like get the click no bang feature and then never use it. So it doesn't bother me. It gives me that extra chance, that extra second, which matters in Airsoft, especially in CQB. So it's going to be a personal thing, whether you like that or not. I don't mind it. It's been fine for me, and I'll leave that at that. So in all, this has been an absolute blast. Yes, it's great to see VFC. I've just strived. The paintwork just feels a little bit better on it. It's a little bit thicker. Yes, the tightness of the tolerances, everything just feels a little bit better now. The pins don't just easily slide in from day one. You do have to break them in. They've really worked on that sort of like tolerances, quality assurance, so that when you get this, it runs reliably day one. And I really thank them for that. It's just brilliant. The double stack double feed system really works, and it works well. I've had no issues with that. With some that have done that in the past, it's usually getting BBs that don't feed in and then jam the system, causing a malfunction. This one, nope, runs perfectly fine, full auto or semi, it doesn't matter, it just runs. You know, the accuracy is just great, it's just phenomenal. So yes, it's a 10 out of 10 for me, or a 5-star review if you want to go down that way, whichever way you want to call it. This is just a phenomenal piece of kit. Weight, feel, manipulation of arms, it's all there. And yeah, like I said in the unboxing video, this is as close as we can get to the real one. For Airsoft, so yeah, that's great. Maybe someone will like a steel bolt carrier, and I'm sure there's a company out there that's going to make one or something like that. So I think I've covered all my bases there. So as always, these have been my opinions. This has been my review on the MP5K, re-review if you want to call it that way, or a revisit. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know in the comments down below. I look forward to reading what you guys think. Just keep it civil. And with that, I've been the Middle-Aged Gamer. You guys have been awesome. I'll see you in the next one.